Changes to staffing, accreditation, and pay are planned to come to the Sedgwick County Emergency Communications. Today, the advisory group over 911 met to discuss those priorities. KSN's Zena Taher reports some of this is prompted by a recent deadly fire.
Julia, an apartment fire last October left a young woman dead, and it prompted new calls for evaluating the county's emergency dispatch response. Multiple county departments met to talk about some of those priorities. The Sedgwick County Emergency Communications Director mentioned during the meeting that the department has been asking for approval for changes for years, saying these are not new frustrations. A few of the efforts they're focusing on now include increasing pay and staffing levels for emergency communications and seeking accreditation for Sedgwick County Emergency Communications.
Well, this is focused while we're using this particular fatal fire incident as the catalyst for a post-incident review. Recommendations out of that we think will be useful across the entire system and for the department as a whole.
Sedgwick County Assistant County Manager Rusty Leeds says one of his biggest concerns is staffing levels for emergency communications. He says they're at 90% staffing now, which is historically great for the department, but he ideally wants them to be overstaffed, more than 100% full. One of the main things the advisory board talked about was getting accreditation for emergency communications. The county hasn't identified a specific organization yet to do that, but there are a few that officials have in mind. Sedgwick County Assistant County Manager Rusty Leeds says getting accredited likely means making changes, but he doesn't yet know what that will entail.
Until we went through a list, we haven't done that. Until we go through an accreditation list to see what's required compared to what we have, then we would know where we need to make adjustments, if we need to modify or add policies.
Accreditation won't happen for at least another year, but Leeds says funding for it will be approved in 2025. In the meantime, another thing they're working on, getting a full list of recommendations for improvements to 911 dispatch. Back in December, the advisory board decided a third party should look into the fatal fire at the Brook Hollow Apartments and make recommendations. Leeds says he's been feeling the pressure to commission an independent analysis.
We want to get to the facts and the details and the recommendations as soon as possible.
Leeds says he expects to put out requests for proposals for a third-party analysis by the end of this month. A report should be complete sometime this summer. In the meantime, Leeds says the county will continue to work on improvements to emergency communications. That includes how to increase communication between different first responder agencies and beefing up staffing in the Emergency Communications Department. Here for you, Zena Taher, KSN News 3.